Sharks aren't supposed to cry, or so the saying goes. If tears fell from a shark eye, how would you ever know?
Welcome everybody to TruExact Show. We are bringing in Shark Week 2021, and for everyone watching, I only have one Hawaiian shirt, so if you see this every episode, I really apologize. This is just it, and you're gonna have to deal with it. So I'm joined here with Elly, Rose the Mermaid, Brian, and our special guest today, Marine Biologist, founder of MISS, Minorities in Shark Science, which we will get to, Jasmin Graham. How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Awesome. Once again, thank you for joining us. So before we get to some shark questions, which we all have, just tell us about yourself, where you grew up, your upbringing, how you got into marine biology and the ocean life in general.
Sure. So I am a military brat, so I moved around a lot. I was born in Montgomery, Alabama, but I say I'm from South Carolina because that's where I spent the most time. And my dad is from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, so I grew up fishing with him, and my family's really big into fishing. That's most of what they eat is seafood, and so being around the water is kind of what made me interested in getting into marine biology, because I had a lot of questions about how did the fish get here? Why do they keep swimming in the same spot when they know we're going to get them? And stuff like that. So that's kind of why I decided to follow marine science as a career. I found out in high school that you could do it as a job when I went to a summer camp, and they were talking about marine scientists and how you can be a scientist that studies fish. And I was like, sign me up. I want to be on a boat all day fishing. That sounds great. So that's how I ended up here.
When I speak to people as successful as you, I feel so horrible about myself because it seems like you had your life planned out at 8 years old, and I still don't know what the hell I'm doing with mine.
Oh, I definitely did not have my life planned out. I was just like, you know, oh, fish are cool. And then my parents were kind of like, that doesn't sound like a real job. Are you sure that's a real job? And so then I said, okay, well, I'll major in biology so then I can go be a doctor or something if it doesn't work out. And so my parents were like, okay, that sounds good. And then I got into college and I was like, nah, this isn't for me. This is super hard. I took like organic chemistry and some other stuff, and then I was like, I don't really like people. I don't want to work with people. That's not fun. And then I switched to wanting to be a vet, and because I was like, well, then I don't have to deal with people. I'm just dealing with animals, and I like animals. And then I went into my advisor, and she was telling me about how hard it is to get into vet school, and then it's harder to get into veterinary school than it is to get into medical school.
Wow.
And you make less money, and it costs the same amount to go to school. And I was like, that's a mess. No, I'm not doing that. So I went back to the whole thing, and I was like, well, I guess we're just going in on this. We'll see if I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. But I don't want to do people, and I don't want to be a vet. So here we are.
God bless you for pulling the trigger on that, though. It took me 4 years to graduate a 2-year college. I just didn't have the guts to leave. I was like, I'll do it. I swear to God, it'll get done. So good for you. Good for you for pulling the trigger and going for your dream. Really quick, I know that you're into, I looked it up, the elasmo branch ecology. What's the difference? Like, what specific branch is that?
So, elasmobranchs are sharks, skates, and rays. Mm-hmm. So it literally means strapped gills. So it's fish that are made of cartilage that have multiple gill slits. So like you think about a normal fish, like a salmon or something, it only has one gill flap. Sharks, skates, and rays have more than one, usually 5, sometimes 6 or 7.
Why do they have more?
Why do they have more? Because it is an adaptation that they have so they can get more oxygen, so they can swim faster and do all of their cool predatory things that they do.
So if fish were able to grow more gills, they would be able to swim faster then?
Well, they'd have to have some other things too, but that would be a good step.
Step in the right direction. Rose, you're our guest panelist. I'll give you the floor if you have any questions for Jasmin.
What was your most exciting dive trip?
My most exciting trip, well, it wasn't good exciting, but it was definitely exciting. I was driving the boat. It was my first time driving. We were working up a shark on the back, so we fish for them. We bring them up to tag them and everything, and we let them go. And so sometimes sharks get real mad because they're out of water. They don't know what's going on. And especially lemon sharks. Lemon sharks are really bitey. They just want to bite everything around them. And so this lemon shark decided to bite the engine and bit a hole through our steering line, and just like steering fluid was going everywhere. I was like, oh no, please let go. And then when someone bite down on something, they do not let go. You basically have to trick them into biting something else by sticking something else by their mouth, so they'll latch onto that. But it was a mess. Fortunately, the boat had 2 engines, but one of them wasn't working at all. So I had to drive the rest of the day with 1 engine. And so my boss kept saying, just don't turn. I was like, just don't turn.
How did that work?
Oh my
Because every time I turn, you just see liquid just guzzling out of the back of the engine. And I was like, oh, okay, because you can't turn just 1 engine. That's not how boats work. Every time I went to turn, it would also turn the one that was broken, and then just like more stuff would spill out. We had some duct tape. We were trying to hold it together. I was like, this is it. I'm not making it home. The Coast Guard's gonna have to come get me. And I didn't make it. But we made it.
I would have accepted my fate and been like, I'm dying here with the sharks. That's it. This is what I'm supposed to do. Taking me out like Jaws over here, taking the boat down so I can't go anywhere. Oh my gosh. I would have loved that though. Like exciting. I still love that. Yeah. Are you kidding me? I've only been to the ocean 1 time. Any experience with a shark is worth it for me. Okay? If I'm going out with a shark bite, that's it. I'm excited. I can't wait.
It makes one of us.
I mean it.
If you ever come to the New Jersey ocean, you'll never want to go back into the ocean with all the pollution and stuff. So we'll just say that.
You gotta stop bashing the Jersey Shore so much. It's not
You're right. I do.
There was a whole show, so it can't be that bad. There was a whole show.
We're from New Jersey.
I apologize.
They're not real people.
I apologize. So, Jasmine, all right. I need to know, did you drive a boat again after that, or were you done? Like,
Yeah, I drive boats all the time.
Okay. I don't know if it was trying. If that was me, I would have retired. Yeah, I would have been like, I'm done. Like, I'm never doing that.
I do get a little anxious when I see lemon sharks now. And one time I was out and we worked up 80 lemon sharks in one day. And I was like, if I never see another lemon shark again, I'll be happy.
Oh, God. How was docking when you got back? Like, was it just kind of like, all right, we're just running into the dock and, someone catch the line?
Well, thankfully the dock was a really easy dock because we came in straight at it.
Yeah,
and
she
I
didn't have
didn't
to
have to
turn.
turn or anything, so that was fine.
Okay, you'd have to like turn into your slip or whatever.
Yeah, it was a straight shot, which was great.
Oh, that's good. That's lucky. Yeah, because I was thinking like, ooh, usually you have to like turn into like your little canal and then your slip, and then it's like, I was like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay, question.
We wouldn't have made it if we had to do that.
So is all this under ichthyology? Is this all under the ichthyology umbrella? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. That was my big question.
Was there ever, I mean, like Rose touched on a exciting story you had, but was there ever a time when you first started that like you were like, I'm horrified, I'm quitting this? I mean, I know if I would have ever, I haven't been in the ocean past my knees since I saw Jaws. Like, that's just me. I mean, I know it looks like I have a great beach body and I shouldn't hide it from the world, but I just can't do it. I'm sorry. So is there ever like an experience that you were like, okay, this is scary as shit, like with an actual shark almost attacking you? Not attacking. I won't use attacking. I know you guys don't. I know.
They're not attacking. They're defending their territory.
Right, defending their territory.
Home.
Or they're just being sharks.
I don't know. I've never really been scared of the shark. It's other stuff. It's like being out on the water and a big thunderstorm rolls in and you're in the middle of it. That's scary. And like really big waves and I'm not sure if the boat's going to make it through. And so usually I'm more afraid of drowning or getting electrocuted. The sharks are like lowest on my concern list. I also have seen someone get got by a shark before, and like the way that we do it, we're really safe. And if you do get bit, it's usually like a passing thing, like with your fingers. We wear these gloves so that when the sharks bite down, you have enough time to take your hand out of their mouths because they bite onto the glove. So
Sweet.
I've seen someone get bit, and like the worst thing is like a couple punctures in their hand, and like it bleeds a lot, but they're not like dying.
Now, how much do those gloves cost? Because I could use a few to like when I do lawn work, like yard work, to like pull weeds
They're
out.
literally gardening gloves. They're not fancy.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so fun fact about sharks, when they bite down, they don't want to break their teeth. So whenever they hit something, no matter how soft it is, they take a split second to pause to figure out if it's going to break their teeth or not. And that's literally all you need is, like, if you have fast reflexes, you can get your hand out of there.
Reflexes I don't want to develop, so I'm glad you have them though. So what do your parents think? Are they just expecting you to want them to come home one day and be like, so I lost my hand, but it was just a regular day at work, you know, come up with like a stump or something? Would they be surprised, or does that like make them nervous? Or does your mom ever like, you know, I wish you weren't out there playing with sharks and sticking your hands in their mouths or whatever?
Yeah, my mom does get anxious about it. My dad's a fisherman through and through.
Oh, so he's like, cool, let me come too.
He just wants to see all the big fish. So I'll send him pictures of these big hammerheads and all this stuff, and he's like, whoa, that's sick. And then my mom was like, don't show me that. I don't want to see you anywhere near that thing.
Right.
She usually doesn't see. I don't show her pictures of me with the sharks. There's like a couple pictures floating around the internet that she sometimes stumbles upon, and she'll send me a screenshot and be like, why are you standing so close to it? Why do you have your hand right there?
That's funny.
What is wrong with you?
That's
awesome.
What's the nicest place you've ever been? Like on an expedition or a dive, like a place that you saw that was just gorgeous?
Well, I love going to the Florida Keys. That's where I do my work.
Those are beautiful.
And going offshore, the water is just so blue and beautiful, and it's just amazing to be out there and not have a whole bunch of people around you and just be in this like blue, tropical, warm water. That's the best for me.
Question.
Through you.
Speaking of the Keys, do you ever have to be careful, like with all the Portuguese bandivore? Because we were down there one time, we were in the water and this like floating amorphous blob comes by and we're like, what is that? Like, oh fuck, that's a Portuguese bandivore. And we like all ran out of the water. Do you have to like ever be careful? Do they ever come up on your boat, or like will they be on a shark, or not really an issue for you guys?
We don't have issues with them up on the boat or near the sharks or anything like that. But I will say that we have issues with other jellies when we're fishing in shallower water, when we're hauling our nets and stuff. We wear gloves, but sometimes the little tentacles get on your arm, and it does not feel good. Does not feel good at all. So usually someone will start hauling it in, and they'll say like hot net, which means there's like a whole bunch of jellyfish stingers on there, and then we usually no scales on who's hauling that bad boy, not me.
I would be the most selfish boat mate ever. I would never haul up the hot net. I'd always call it and just, I gotta go to the bathroom, I'll be back.
Yeah, that's where you get the person that's the least experienced, the newbie on the boat. Right. They get all of the bad jobs, hauling the hot net, dealing with catfish, because catfish are literally the worst. Whenever people ask me, am I afraid of sharks? I say no, but I don't fuck with catfish. No. Yeah,
so no noodling?
They swallow all the hooks, and then you gotta like reach in and grab them, and they have those barbs. I've done my share of fishing.
You should see the catfish you have.
The so catfish you don't go noodling is what you're saying.
Yes.
No, I'm not going noodling. Definitely not.
Come on, you're from the South. How are you not noodling? Like, come on now. I'm sure your dad has gone.
No, my dad doesn't do that. My dad is like, listen, we got perfectly good hooks. I don't need to be sticking my hand in anywhere.
Right. I got a couple more, but Rose, if you have any more.
What's your most rewarding part of your job?
So I work a lot with endangered species, and so the most rewarding part of my job is getting to see that my research affects the regulations and getting to see that the animals are starting to do better and see them more. So when I first started doing this, I hardly ever saw my study species, which is the small-toothed sawfish. And then I published a paper, and we started talking about like, oh, these are the areas that sawfish are using, and this is how commercial fishing is affecting them. And having people from NOAA contact me and say, okay, this is really great stuff. We're going to take this to the Fisheries Council and talk about changing where people fish and when they fish and all of that. So getting to see that like what I do is actually impacting things, and then getting to hear about all these people seeing sawfish now more and more. It's like, yeah. Come back. You can do it.
And you're leading, like paving the way for women of color. Like it's so awesome. It's amazing.
Thank you. Yes, women in STEM in general, and then women of color, it's like unheard of. So,
Thank
you.
But yeah, let's touch on that then, if you want to. So you started Minorities in Shark Science, right? So you're the founder of it. How did that come to be? Because honestly, as a white dude, I'm going to be honest, I don't see a lot of women of color in the field either. So when you started that to like draw awareness to it, I think it's really cool because, you know, it paves the way. Representation is everything. So how did that come to be?
So me and the other people that founded it, Carly Jackson, Jada Elcock, and Amani Weber-Schultz, we actually met each other on Twitter. So there was a hashtag Black in Nature going around, and Carly had posted a picture of her in the field working up a shark. And I saw it, and I was like, what? A black woman working up sharks? There is more than just me. So then I tweeted at her. I was like, what? You're a black woman in shark science? I'm a black woman in shark science. We were like, what? There's another one. And then Amani popped in. She's like, make that 3. And Jada was like, make that 4. And I was like, oh, snap. We got a party now. And so then we're jokingly like, we should start a club. And we started this whole side group chat thing. And the more we talked about it, the more we were like, no, but we really should start a club, because if all of us felt alone, imagine how many other people there are out there that feel like they're the only ones and that they're going through this alone.
Yeah.
So we started the organization, and then fast forward, we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary. We have 250 plus members from 18 different countries.
Good for you.
Wow.
50 friends of Miss, who are people that don't identify as women of color but want to support us and want to support our mission. So in total, it's 300 people in the network. And obviously it was needed because all of these fantastic women came out of the woodwork to be like, yes, we are not alone. We are all here doing our stuff. And it's been awesome.
Can non-shark sciencey people be in the club?
Yes, you can be in the club. You can come be a friend of Miss. You can come hang out.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Still science. I have a science degree, but not in like biology, not in like with animals.
Yeah.
I really need to stop having people on who are changing the world. It makes me look bad.
Yeah, with your stupid Hawaiian shirt.
It's like I have all these wonderful people on and my parents just watch. Like, and what are you doing? It's like, well, I don't know. I'm just here talking.
Right, we've got Jasmine literally changing the fucking world, and you're just in your basement. God damn it, Scott.
Hey, I have a surfboard that's half bitten, whatever. So I saw though that you guys met for the first time recently, you four, and we are gonna have Carly on here as well, and I've been in touch with Jada as well, so we are gonna have them on as part of the Shark Week as well. So how like surreal was it to actually meet the people that like?
It was pretty wild. It's so weird because we've been working on this thing for forever, and when we met each other, it had been 9 months since we started the organization. So like we were like, I mean, we literally gave birth to a thing. Like we
shark
breathed a life into this thing. And then we all met, and it was kind of like, you know, seeing your long lost sister is what it felt like. Like we were so close, we knew each other so well, even though we had never met in person. So it was just easy, and it wasn't weird, because I'm a little bit of a socially awkward person. I said this before, I really don't do well with people. People make me anxious. And so meeting people was hard for me, but it didn't feel like that at all. We just kind of like dove right in, best of friends, sisters, like we were just in it. So it was really amazing to like have this connection. I mean, we're all invited to Carly's wedding. Like we were invited to Carly's wedding before we even met in person. Like we're in there. We're family now. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Sister, go to the traveling sharks.
yeah.
Yes. Ooh, good one, Rose. Good one.
That is pretty good. Damn it. That is really good.
Don't steal it from me now. I see your wheels turning now. I'm talking to
It's
you.
gone. It's mine.
I swear to God, I won't.
Maybe the ladies can have it.
but you started that foundation too. I read up on some of your stuff. Like you said, you had a grandparent who was part of the civil rights movement as well in South Carolina, and he was the first Black person to own a gas station. So did you feel like you know that was like kind of in you to do something?
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely like my family. My family's been involved in social justice for a really long time. My great grandfather was the first president of the NAACP in Myrtle Beach.
Wow.
And like we're like in social justice. It is our thing.
That's your blood. That is your bloodline.
And then on
Wow.
my mom's side, my uncle is very much into social justice as well, and he does a lot of things. He's like a business person, so he does a lot of like promoting Black men in business and Black businesses and consulting with them. And so he's also very into social justice on the business side. So I definitely get it. Like my mom was not surprised that I went and started an organization about women of color. She was like, yeah, that tracks. Like
Yeah.
we saw that coming. When you were like marching in protests in college, I was like, yeah, that's a wrap. She is her dad's daughter. Like that's happening.
And
All right.
go
Can
on.
I ask a question?
Yeah, go
Are you a
on.
Gamecocks fan? Please say no.
No, I'm impartial. My mother went to Chapel Hill, so
Yes. Go Tar Heels.
I pull for the real Carolina.
Thank you.
Right, that's fair.
Perfect. I'll allow it.
I mean, we do have a Duke fan on the show.
No one cares.
It's Brian, not me. I'm not a Duke fan.
Okay, still no one cares.
Jasmine, one more question with the whole the foundation and stuff and your upbringing. I read that you found out like what the N-word was at a young age, and your father he had you watch Roots. That's intense. Like
yes,
how
my family's
old?
very intense.
How old? That is a real, like, to come home at a certain age, like to watch that and go rent it. How old were you, and like what was your like thought process watching and finishing that?
I think I was probably 9,
Ooh.
maybe. Yeah. I think it was around 9. And yeah, we went to the library, we checked out like it's like 12 volumes. It was like back in the day when you go to the library, you like check out, like you could only do like 4 movies at a time. So we were like doing it in pieces. But yeah, I think that it was really impactful to see that. And I definitely don't think that I was like too young to see it. I think that as a Black woman, I don't really have the luxury of being sheltered. Like people were going to treat me that way. And so it like helped to arm myself with the information before I experienced it to the full extent in the world. And so I really do appreciate that. And I mean, my dad did fast forward through like some of the most intense scenes, but like I still got the gist of it. I still got what was happening. And my parents feel like it's very important to understand your history and understand where we've come from and where we still need to get to, so you don't get complacent of like, well, it's good enough. So we talk about that kind of stuff a lot, and my parents are very much like, you shouldn't be ashamed of being Black. Being Black is like something you should be really proud of. Like, we went through all of this and we're here and we're doing stuff. And like, if that doesn't tell you the resiliency of the Black community, I don't know what does. And so my mom was always like, yeah, we're going to talk about this stuff. We're going to be really proud of our history, because whenever you get out into the world, people are going to try to make you feel bad for being Black. And I never want you to feel like you shouldn't be Black or you don't want to be Black, because that is a them problem, not a you problem. They have a problem with you. You don't need to have a problem with yourself. You're great doing your thing. So yeah, I really appreciate having parents that talk to me about that stuff and set the record straight before I went and had people tell me their version of history and like, oh, the Civil War was about states' rights and blah, 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 and all that stuff. My parents were like, first of all, that's baloney. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about what really happened. So yeah, that was kind of
meanwhile,
my life.
I'm sitting here like, wait, it wasn't? Like, I
No. They cut the sentence short. It is not states' rights, but states' rights to own slaves.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Jasmine, we've had other people that work with shark specialists and things, and we all ask this question: how do you feel about how Discovery Channel does Shark Week?
Mm-hmm. Very good question, Brian. Way better than your last question.
Yeah.
So Discovery Channel used to be so good. I mean, there are so many people that study sharks that talk about, like, when I was a kid, I watched Shark Week and I thought the sharks were super great. And then at some point, Discovery Channel just was like, oh, science? Nah. Like, let's go over here.
Yeah.
And it got a little wild. It got very wild. I mean, when they were doing like documentaries about megalodons still existing, that was when it just kind of was like, where are we going? So I think that I hope that one day that Discovery like makes it back to what they were, because it was so good. Shark Week used to be so good before. I don't know if they like had a change in leadership or they like were pressured by ad sales or what, but they decided that they were going to like basically make shark movies, which is fine to have a shark movie. I enjoy a good trashy shark movie, but like it's not on a channel that is claiming to talk about science, and that confuses people because people don't know what's real and what's not real. If you go and watch Sharknado, you know that that's not real. Like, you're not expecting to get scientific information from Sharknado. But if you go to Discovery Shark Week, you go in expecting things to be true and factual. And so if you're not given that, it's kind of misleading. So that's kind of my issue with Discovery Channel, Shark Week. I really, really hope that they get better. I think that they like realized after the Megalodon thing that they had gone too far. And now they're slowly working their way back. So I hope that they make it back to science-based things soon.
I think they're gonna make it. They're gonna go further.
Yeah,
the Rock is gonna end up fighting a great white at some point. I guarantee.
Yeah, I mean that. Like, I feel like if they're gonna do that, they need to like own it and be like, this is no longer who we are, and
we're WWF of Shark
doing
Week.
This. Because I mean, then you got like, I have people all the time asking me questions that I am like, yeah, you heard that on Shark Week. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. Like,
that's why, yeah, Jasmine, that's why I do it on this show, because we do the facts only here. I don't want people punching sharks, body slamming sharks, swimming versus them. I don't care about things like that. I want the cold hard facts. That's what I want. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and sharks are so cool. I'm like, you don't need to fake things. They're so metal. Like there are sharks that their babies like literally eat their siblings in the womb. You know how metal that is? That is so metal. You don't need to make.
I'm tired of you, Brenda. Nom 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 nom.
Oh my gosh, I love adjective, by the way, metal. That's what
that is really
cool. Go on, Elly, go on.
So I have to go. I'm so sorry. Jasmine, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much. I can't wait to watch this episode, and I hope we have you on again. and good to see everybody. But yes, sorry I have to do an untimely leave, but this was great. Thank you, Jasmine, and thank you for everything that you do. So she has another woman of color in like the science field, not sharks, but it's just like, yay, more like women in science fields in general, and then especially like women of color in science fields. It's just kind of like that extra battle essentially that you have to like kind of overcome, and like that extra, people don't expect much of you. I'm sure you've come across that. People are just like, oh, and then you actually know how to do stuff, and then people are kind of surprised. Like, yeah, it's like, I don't understand why you're surprised. Yeah. I'm sure it's happened to you many times.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it definitely happens to me. It's very annoying. Depending on how I'm feeling, my response is different.
It's like, right. It's like, I'm about to just push you in the ocean, but you know, we'll leave that for another day. Thank you so much, Jasmine. It was so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
All right, so Jasmine, just one more from me, and then we could go back to Rose if she has any. How cutthroat? I like to ask this. Oh, by the way, back to Shark Week. There is also, from what we talk about, from a lot of people, there's not a lot of representation of women in general in the shows, like at all. Like they're all shows with men leading them, and I didn't notice that. I mean, neither did Brian, till we had on Dr. Catherine McDonald last year, and she said that. And then I went upstairs and watched my wife, and all the shows had leading men on it. And we were like, oh my God, like we never even noticed that. So like, has there been petitions put out? Has there been uproars about that?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it all the time. And I mean, you had Catherine on, and Catherine wrote a whole thing, a whole op-ed about it. And I did a thing with another journalist, and I talked about it on there. And you know, it's the lack of reaction that tells me all that I need to know. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, you don't want me in your space, then okay, bye. So it's just, you know, it's one of those things of like, as much noise as we make, it's driven by ads and the bureaucracy and how all of that works. And that's very unfortunate, but I think that they will soon realize that they're going to lose out. I mean, they've got competitors out there that are willing to be science-based and willing to have diverse talent on and off camera, and they're gonna lose that battle. So I hope that they soon realize that and start changing their tactics, because I mean, it's tough whenever you have a bunch of scientists that don't trust you. Like, right, it's at the point where people are asked to be on Discovery shows, and most shark scientists will say no. And so eventually they'll run out of people. They burn enough people, burn enough bridges, they're gonna run out of shark scientists. So I think that they're gonna realize that they need to change, because I mean, the field is now not trusting them for their science issues, and then also for their lack of representation and their lack of response to calls to change that. And so a lot of shark scientists are doing things with other networks and doing other documentaries and stuff like that. And so I think that they're going to realize that they're losing all their talent to the competition, and they're going to have to change.
Yeah, no, hopefully. All right, that's the question I have. Rose, do you have any more?
Let's see. What do you think is probably the hardest hurdle that you've had to overcome being in the field as a Black woman, as a woman of color? What do you think is the hardest hurdle?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the biggest hurdle is just existing without people questioning me. That's very annoying. It's very annoying to constantly have people question everything that you say, and you know, say things like, well, I don't understand why you're talking about this, or like why you spoke to them about that. And I had someone once that told me that like they didn't understand why I was talking about sharks to the New York Times or whatever, because I don't know what I'm talking about. And I was like, well, that's funny, because by several degrees say otherwise. So I know what I'm talking about. So you can back off. So that's kind of stuff, and like just trying to do presentations and having people in the Q&A section ask me all these questions, like trying to trip me up. Like I don't know Now that I'm sorry, one of us in this room is in fact an expert on sawfish movements, and the other one of us is an ass. So, like, maybe you should just sit down. So that kind of stuff is super annoying, and especially like going out on the water and having people question whether I can handle a shark or not. I'm like, yes, I can handle a shark. I'm a shark scientist. I do, in fact, know how to handle a shark without getting bit. Thank you for your concern. So that kind of stuff is just super annoying, and just having people assume that I get things because I'm Black. I'm like, okay, that's actually the opposite of what happens. There's actually a lot of things that I don't get because I'm Black.
Don't you love that?
Yeah, having
that
people say,
privilege
like,
that you have.
Yeah, having people say like, "Oh, you only got that because you're Black." Like whenever I actually, Brian, I know you're into Duke. I actually thought about going to Duke for college, and I got into Duke, and one of my classmates also applied to get into Duke, and she didn't get in, and she was feeling some type of way. And she said, "I wish that I were Black because I would have got in."
She said that to you?
Yes, she said that to me.
Oh, man.
We would have been throwing hands.
I
would have been duking it out, all right?
I can't believe she said it to you, honestly.
Yes, she said it to me. And my teacher heard it. My teacher heard it, and he just goes and literally turns the other way, like, if you want to clock her, I didn't see it.
Get out of here. No.
How did you
As a
respond
Black
to
woman,
that? Like, how did you respond to that? Did you just ignore her?
Really?
I did not respond to it. I actually had a guy in my class behind me who stepped up and was an ally, and he was great, and he was a friend of mine and a white guy, and he also applied to Duke and didn't get in, and he was like, "Well, I didn't get into Duke because Jasmine is better than me in every single way. She has better grades, she got better test scores, she does all sorts of extracurriculars, so maybe you and I should have stepped up our game." Damn. That's what he said.
Yes.
And then I was like, "Thank you, sir." Because I was about to go from 0 to Kunovich real quick.
Right?
But I still hate people, so leave me alone.
You're about to go full shark frenzy on her. Like, you know what? No, but as a Black woman, like, I really look up to you for what you're doing, because, like, I've always dreamed of being a marine biologist, but science is not my thing. Like, we're not friends. I can't even read science words without just going into a jumbled mess. So the fact that you're literally doing something that I wish I could do is just amazing. And so I'm like your biggest fan right here. I want to be your best friend. Like, it's awesome. So keep doing it.
Rose, you got to get you to the ocean a second time before you become.
Man, look,
you gotta do a music video on a boat or something.
Right? Yeah.
Water
You have a song called "Tides and Currents," which have to do with the ocean, and you're not even near the ocean.
There you go.
You don't know what I have.
Did you make a music video for that song yet? Because listen, I got a boat. There you go.
I totally trust you driving too, so let's do it, all right? I'm down.
That's all.
I'm not putting. I want to be on a boat so bad with sharks surrounded by me. I want to, oh my gosh, I just want to live in your shoes one day. I swear.
I'm out of my hands. Jasmine, if you guys want to work out, do it.
We will. We'll be in contact after this.
All right, if there's no more questions, we could get to our final segment. Jasmine, before we let you go. Rose, you have any more, or are you good?
I'm good. I can talk about sharks all day, but I'm going to stop myself.
All right. Brian, you're good?
Good.
All right, so Jasmine, before we get to your plugs and where we can catch you, we like to do this thing called our final segment. It's Gun to Your Head. It's like a Would You Rather, right? Just a little fun after, we had conversation and stuff. So it's 2 questions each. Rose can join if she wants. If not, that's fine. I know she's like a guest panelist here. So we had a little wordplay involved. It's not just like your Coke or Pepsi type thing. We like to add some wordplay. So we ask questions. They're kind of stupid and goofy, but you have to pick a winner and your favorite question at the end, okay?
Okay.
Now, some of us keep score. I don't personally.
Scott's not good at this.
Listen. It's all a taste, who knows? So I'll start first, okay? Would you rather be in the Navy or only wear Navy for the rest of your life?
Terrible.
Only wear navy? Duh.
Okay. Listen, I'm not that good at this game. That's what Brian said. Brian, you're up.
All right. Would you rather be a clownfish or go fishing with a clown?
That's close to mine.
Oh no.
That's a weird question. I don't know. I feel like I'd rather go fishing with a clown. The reason this is hard is because I'm low-key afraid of clowns. Like, not afraid, but I don't trust clowns.
So that's what makes it weird. Because what would he be doing there?
Like, what are you doing?
Trying to murder me? Trying to drag me?
Right?
You gotta answer.
She said fishing.
I would do fishing with the clown.
Who wants to be a fish though? Like, Rose?
Okay, mine's lame. But would you rather be completely blue or live in the blue?
Not horrible.
Yeah, because the ocean's a big, scary place, man. I love it, but it's scary. You don't know what's going on.
I feel like I'd rather be completely blue.
Yeah, because once you go in the ocean at night...
There's no coming back.
Right? Right.
The ocean is a dog-eat-dog world, man. It's a hard life of the ocean. I don't know.
All right, last one from me. Would you rather only drink Starbucks or lose $1 every time you say the word star?
Wait, say that again?
Okay. You can only drink Starbucks for the rest of your life, or you lose $1 every time you say the word star.
Swing at him, pal.
I don't know. That's pretty good.
I guess I will. I'll go with Starbucks. Drinking Starbucks. That's also tough because I don't like coffee. There's not a lot of stuff I can drink at Starbucks.
You got to get the iced tea then. I mean,
I have tea all the time.
All the time. Brian, last one.
Okay.
And then Rose.
Would you rather have to ride on the bow every time you're on a boat, or have to bow to boats every time you see them?
That's a good one.
I'd rather ride on the bow. Honestly, I do that anyways.
Okay.
I don't have another one. I'm not clever enough. I just had one.
That's fine. Hey, who cares? As long as you join
I'll leave
in,
dividing.
I'm impressed. All right, Jasmine, your favorite question out of them all. Don't feel pressured.
My favorite question was the clownfish or fishing with a clown.
That's how it's done, Scott.
You know what?
Fun.
I'm going to protest this just because I think that question was dumb before, but whatever. It is what it is. Jasmine, where can we catch your website, your app mentions, a site for the Minorities in Shark Science, anything you got?
Yeah, so my Twitter is at Elasmo_gal. That's ELASMO_GAL. You can follow Miss on Twitter at Miss_Elasmo. I also have a podcast called More Than Just a Scientist, which is on pretty much everywhere you can listen to a podcast. And if you want to visit the Miss website, it's www.misselasmo.org.
Awesome. That was perfectly said. No stutters. Does anyone who doesn't understand that, like, you don't deserve to go to the website because it was done beautifully. So Jasmine, thank you very much. Rose, thank you for being a guest panelist. I know you love sharks, so this was really awesome.
Are you gonna thank me?
No, you cheated. You cheated your way to a victory.
Oh my gosh.